This is the second of the sour grapes or unattainable promises given by leaders of the Mormon Church. And it's found in this promise that Adam fell that men might be, and men are that they might have joy. On the church's website, under happiness, it talks about how Heavenly Father really desires that we find true and lasting happiness, not just in the life to come, but in this life as well. Further on in the article, it says, as we seek to be happy, we should remember that the only way to real happiness is to live the gospel. If that's the case, why are there so many unhappy people in the Mormon Church? Studies have shown that Utah, which has the highest concentration of Mormons, has the highest depression rate and the highest consumption of antidepressants. One of the reasons may be that its focus on family and religion community can cause people to feel pressure to conform to those societal expectations. Other possible reasons may be that Latter-day Saints are less likely to self-medicate with drugs or illegal drugs, so they go with what their doctors prescribe. But those speculations don't answer the real question, which is, if Latter-day Saints are promised blessings of happiness for living the gospel, why is there so much unhappiness? I'm no researcher, so I don't have all of the answers, but I do have my own personal experience. And I know members of the church, or former members of the church, who have also dealt with depression, and that might shed some light on why depression is so prevalent among Latter-day Saints. My experience with depression began when I was a little girl. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I can remember being so unhappy with who I was. I didn't like who I was. I cried all the time. I didn't have friends. I felt very isolated, very alone, very depressed. I didn't get the diagnosis of depression until I was 14 years old, but in hindsight, I can see I was a very unhappy child. Years and years of self-reflection and self-improvement and therapy helped me to better understand why I was so unhappy as a little girl. The first was abuse. I was a victim of severe verbal and emotional abuse, and that caused me to feel less than worthy and not loved. And that really contributed to my depression. The second was scrupulosity that was fostered as a member of the Mormon Church. In primary, I was taught that if you chance to meet a frown, do not let it stay. Quickly turn it upside down and smile that frown away. In other words, ignore your feelings and just slap on a happy face. Fake it till you make it. And if that didn't work, then the advice was to pray more, to read my scriptures more, to fast, to serve, to forget myself, to not deal with the issues that were actually contributing to my depression, but just ignore it. It won't be surprising to learn that that didn't work. I spent decades of my life hustling for worthiness. If I just do X, Y, or Z, Heavenly Father will see how good I am, and then He's gonna bless me. It wasn't until I did the hard work of going to therapy, of reading the self-help literature, of reaching out and finding tools that would help me better understand myself so that I could better love myself, that the depression was lifted. I'm not going to say that I'm completely cured from depression. I also understand that because this has been such a huge part of my life, it may very well come back. But I'm now equipped with some tools that will help me the next time this sort of thing arises. And one of the most important tools that I've learned through my mental health journey was learning how to be compassionate with myself and allowing myself to feel my feelings. And that when I felt anger or sadness, that those were okay feelings, and I just needed to ride them out. I never got that counsel as a member of the church. The church's teachings that these quote unquote negative feelings like anger or sadness or jealousy, which everyone feels because they're natural human emotions, but to believe that those are influenced by the adversary, that Satan has some kind of power over you, is so detrimental to a person's mental health. When I believed that about myself, I believed that I was less worthy. I wasn't strong enough, and that made me a bad person. That's not the truth. When I feel those feelings, it's because I'm a human being. And I may not be able to control the fact that I feel those feelings, but I can learn tools and skills to help me navigate those feelings. And you don't learn those skills in the Mormon Church. You learn scrupulosity You learn that your negative feelings are bad. You learn that you have little control over your life and that you need to turn to God, this invisible power, to fix you, when so much more good can be done when you work on yourself. So in summary, this belief that Mormonism is the answer to happiness and joy, it's a complete falsehood. It's one of those unattainable sour grapes because it's just not true.